with it. If you shouldn't date if a man shouldn't date, if a man is 30 years old, why shouldn't he date a woman that's 18? Explain. Who want to go
I'm
first?
coming from experience. When I was 18, I mean, I was a pharmacy tech. I started talking to the pharmacist who was 30 years old. And looking back, that was super inappropriate. Like, I think that was an overstep on both of our accounts, but more so on his part because I was fresh out of high school. Like, this was a job that I was,
So essentially, you're saying that he took advantage because you were younger?
I'm not saying he took advantage.
So what are you trying to say?
But I'm saying the maturity level that I was at and the maturity level that he was at are so vast that there's nothing that we should have.
So you think that the maturity level has to be equal between men and
necessarily all that equal, but closer.
But what do you say that there's 30-year-old men that's immature? So if a 30-year-old man is immature, does this make him is he qualified to date a 18-year-old?
It's not just that, but as far as them being legal and then actually knowing, like they have to experience life a little bit. I feel like
they have to be in the streets first.
And that you're right in that aspect.
Oh, well, I could use the same argument.
Are very grown for an 18-year-old and stuff like that. And I get that, but still, I don't.
So here's the thing. You're really not saying anything that's wrong then, because if it's the case, if you're bringing up maturity and experience, well, maturity, a 30-year-old man, he can be immature. Yeah. And if his maturity level can match up with the 18-year-old, but you said that, you still wouldn't accept that man that's 30 dating the 18-year-old. So that excludes maturity. Maturity doesn't make it a qualifier. Right. And even if you're speaking about experience, well, it can be a 30-year-old man that doesn't have a lot of life experience, right? Yeah. He's just kind of had a coddled life, but he's dating this 18-year-old. But you would still say, well, no, you still wouldn't want that 30-year-old man to date the 18-year-old because it's just not right. So then that excludes experience and maturity. So then what's the reason of why it's actually wrong for a 30-year-old man to date an 18-year-old woman?
They just don't like men's preferences.
I would say discernment from someone who dated someone like.
Speaking of Mike for me too.
I would say discernment because I, personally did date someone like you said that was, I was fresh out of high school too, and he was older than I was he was older. Probably in his 30s at the time. I think it.
What do you mean by discernment? Meaning that the 18-year-old couldn't make good judgment?
I think that we do have cloudy judgment. It's like it's like having like bar head, like when you're drinking and everything just seems so right.
Okay, so I got a question for you. If that's the case, then why is it that when you're 18 years old, you can vote?
Good question.
Because if you can vote, think about it. If we got to think about it logically, right, and see if you're logically consistent. If the claim is a man that's 30 years old dating a woman that's 18 years old, it's wrong. You have to justify why it's actually wrong. Now, if you're saying that, well, the 18-year-old, the 18-year-old doesn't, you said the word what? Doesn't what?
I think I said discernment.
Doesn't have discernment, can't make good judgment.
No, I didn't say that. I'm saying the levels of discernment that a 30-year-old will have versus an 18-year-old is different. And in a political view, you're basically saying, why can't this person choose between this candidate and that candidate? No, you very well can sit down and research and develop your ideology. You can do
it's the same thing. If you can sit down and choose who the president is going to be, because remember, the president doesn't only affect you. The president is going to affect me and everybody else in the country. If you can make that decision, you can and make the research, like she said, being an 18-year-old woman, you can definitely make the research on when you're going to date this 30-year-old man. But for some reason, once they become at 18, they want the younger guys. Because these women, when they were 18 and in high school, they didn't want the guys in their age group. No, they found them boring. They didn't have no money. They found them immature. That's why in high school, you remember, most girls were going for the older guys, right? For the guys in college, right? For the freshman guys, right? So they didn't want the guys at their age. Even older women don't want men at their age. They always go for older men. But the issue is they don't like men's preferences. That's the only thing. Because I'm telling you right now, if there's a 35-year-old woman and a 35-year-old man, and the 35-year-old man says he doesn't date 35-year-old women, he dates 34-year-old women just by 1 year off, the 35-year-old woman is going to have an issue with that as well. So it's not about the age. They just hate men's preferences.
Same.
Okay, and the same thing if you're dating someone. Yeah.
But all
So
I'm
it's
saying is a person that's 30 years old is going to have a level of discernment that an 18-year-old will not have.
Oh,
that's the point.
Totally fine. But if it's the case that an 18-year-old, because I'll do the same questions with her, if it's the case that the 30-year-old has the same level of discernment as this 18-year-old, which we know that's the case, this is something that could be real, right? There's some 30-year-old men that really can't make good judgment like their other counterparts of 30-year-old men out there, because they're just maybe inadequate, lazy, or maybe have low IQ. Who knows what it is. But if it's the case that the discernment level matches up perfectly with the 18-year-old, then is it okay for the 30-year-old to date the 18-year-old?
I mean, I guess I'm gonna have to pose this with another question. Can your 18-year-old bring a 30-year-old male to your house?
Can a
as
18-year-old
partner and spouse? Can your
make it sense?
Can your 18-year-old daughter bring a 30-year-old man to your house and say, "Hey, Dad, I'm dating this man. He's courting me. I like him a lot. I could possibly marry this man." Submit, obey, duties, all of that to this 30-year-old man. How would you?
You asking me?
Yes.
I'll answer your question. So with me, I would say that I would be in the courting process. I got 2 daughters, so I would be involved in the courting and dating process of who's going to be dating my daughter, right?
So she could date a man.
So she can date a man. So if it's, I would say yes. If I happen to come across a man that is a good man, and I use my discernment and met the man and spoken to that man, and he seen what family he came from, what religion he has, and all of this, if it's a good fit for my daughter, totally fine. The age wouldn't matter as far as the 30-year-old and 18.
Like I said, this is all bullshit, right? Like I said, I told you guys, these women don't like men their age. They want older men. If younger women didn't want these older men wouldn't be dating. They wouldn't be out here with younger women, right? But they run away from men their age, calling them insecure. I mean, honestly, it's not really insecurity. Or no, it's not maturity. It's about the money. Right? It's really about the money, because they would be okay dealing with a man their age if he was rich. So it's really all about the money. Because remember, for men, an 18-year-old man really doesn't have money like that. Doesn't have money to take on dates, doesn't have money to take on trips, to buy clothes, shopping, and things like that, right? He's gonna take to buy some pizza from Domino's, right? But the 35-year-old guy, he's probably gonna pay her phone bill, take out shopping, take her to nice places and things like that. So it's really about the money. But the fact that the problem they have is that men their age, especially when they get older, they want men their age to not go down. They want them to date them. Because remember, every time a 35-year-old man, and remember, it's the 35-year-old man who has the money. If you're a 35-year-old man and you don't have money and you're broke, these women don't care if you go down and date younger women. They don't care. They only complain about 35-year-old men or older men who have the money, because they're like, he has money, he should be dating me. Why is he dating younger women? He's taking advantage of them. But if he's broke, they don't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't matter if you were.
But the question isn't on me, because I don't think that it's wrong. The question will be posed to you because you think that the 30-year-old man dating the 18-year-old woman is wrong. And by wrong, you mean immoral, right?
I think it's unethical.
Unethical, so immoral.
No, unethical is basically, ethics is really what plays kind of in the workplace. So when she was saying that was like inappropriate, I can understand why. It's because
but if you peel back the layer to ethics, then it's still going to go to morals.
Yeah, the definition is not morally correct.
Yeah.
For what, unethical?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the definition.
Like I was saying, so the point that I'm trying to make is I'm not saying that relationship is necessarily wrong. what I
You just don't
learned
like
from
it.
being in a relationship like that is
Yeah.
that he was more controlling, right?
Same
He tried
excuse.
to manipulate me in ways that now that I know what I know now wouldn't have necessarily been okay with my father.
Yeah,
But most, and I just want to drop
Yeah, I'm
this
glad.
home,
Yep.
most fathers aren't in their daughter's courting process.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
right, traditionally, let's just be completely honest. You're not, when you're talking to someone or sharing messages or showing interest with someone, you're not going to your dad and say, Dad, I'm interested in this person.
Mhm.
You're usually going to see if you're interested in that person first, and then you're going to move on to however that plays out.
Yeah, I get what you mean, but my refutation for that argument would just be, well, she could be with the 18-year-old boy her same age that's controlling as well.
Yes.
Yes, I was just
Exactly.
saying,
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, just because I don't, like I said, it doesn't, they don't like it because the way they look at it is like this, like guys, they only complain about the rich guys. I have to say this over and over and over again. If women my age wouldn't care about me dating younger women if they see me as broke, if they see me as below them, they don't care. You know what I mean? Because it's not like they're gonna give me a chance anyway. It's not like, so they wouldn't care, right? That's why women care so much about celebrities like the Chris Browns and all these other type of celebrities who date non-black women, because they see themselves with those celebrities. Does that make sense? So if Chris Brown, especially black women, if Chris Brown dates an Asian woman, dates a white woman, dates a European woman, right? Black women see it as an issue because they see themselves with Chris Brown. They see themselves with the athletes. It's the same thing with the age gap BS. Women only complain about the men their age because they look at it like, he should be dating me. He shouldn't be spending his money on young girls. He's taking advantage of them, right? They would rather the guy with the money, their age, dates them. Even if when they were younger, they were dating older men too. So they don't like men's preferences. That's what it is, really. Anyway, man, shout out to Cooley. I'll put the link down below to No Fugazi podcast. Shout out to you guys who came in today. Today was gonna be a short one. I'll be back next week. Next week I'm gonna stream. I'm gonna go live on Thanksgiving. Actually, I'm gonna go live the day before Thanksgiving. So, Miss Maria, I don't know if you're still here in the chat. I'm letting you know. I'm gonna be here next Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. I'm gonna be here on Thanksgiving, right? And then I'm gonna be here on the Friday, right? And I might be here on the Saturday as well. So 4 days of live streams, Miss Mariam. So I'll be glad to see you in the chat. I'm gonna be cooking. I'm gonna be going crazy. So I'm letting you know. Isaac, shout out to you for coming in the chat and supporting your boy. Mr. 0627 the Kavi was in the chat supporting your boy. So I appreciate you guys. If you didn't like the video, like it now as I'm heading out. I'll be back next week. We're gonna do a marathon of 4 days. All right. So I'll be here with you guys. All right. Shout out. Thank you for supporting your boy. Till next time. Peace.